प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधि वेदस्य आणीस्थ श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासि अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Om. May my mind be firmly established in my speech. May the speech be established firmly in my mind. May my thoughts, words and actions become corresponding to each other and coherent. May the self-effulgent Divine Being reveal Himself to us. May the truths of the scriptures come to me. May not what I learn from them ever forsake me. I shall speak what is right. I shall speak the truth. May that protect me. May that protect the teacher. Om. Peace, peace, peace. We are in our true self, pure, perfect. Let us feel that perfection within our heart as a steadily burning candle flame. I am seeing that within my heart. I am seeing it illumining my whole heart, removing all the darkness of ignorance from there. I see it has illumined my whole existence, the whole body, the mind, and all that is perceived around going by the name, the world. All that is this self all distinctions of name and form, of time and space are dissolved in this bright effulgence of my true nature. Now I see this effulgence condensing into the beautiful form of Sri Ramakrishna seated in my heart. A very special splendor of compassion is being scattered from his body all around. Om. Peace, peace, peace. So, dear friends, let us begin today's discussion with our regular prayers. Om Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadattatam Bhuvi Grinanti te Bhurida Jana. We have been discussing this biography which is written from these both angles which have been complementing each other. The physical actions and the events described in the light of the mental attitudes, intentions, etc. of Sri Ramakrishna. And that is, this description therefore makes it a very special and complete biography. And we had seen earlier also the reasons that why not only events are enough, description of events is to a great extent enough when you are writing biography of a regular person, can be in one's own field a great person. But then there is a difference between an incarnation of God or even a person who has realized God and thus has become liberated and is living as what is called Jivan Mukta, the liberated being. So that person's biography and the biography of somebody, say, imagine the biography of Alexander the Great, or that of a poet like, say, Shakespeare. Now, these people, they were great, but then they all, even in spite of their greatness, retained this perception like the ordinary people, that this I, the body, and the world that is seen, they are real as seen. It is, all of them perceives things similarly, and therefore by the events in their lives one can deduce the mind that was at work, because we all have the similar intentions to some extent. So if we are doing something, the action can be the indicator of the intention. But then here we are looking at a completely different, very separate class. And what is it? This is the class of those who do not think of the body as I, and the world as they see as real. They see that this is just a continuously shifting and changing phenomena. This is not real. So, therefore, their actions cannot really show that what mind was at work in performing those actions. That is why the mind of such incarnations of God has to be indicated by somebody who is very intimately associated at the spiritual level with that person. And so this biography does just that. We have been discussing this, how Sri Ramakrishna's powers as Guru are manifest when he was at the temple garden at Dakshineshwar and was, externally speaking, he was an appointed priest at that temple. There were many other workers doing different things there. So his duty was to do the worship according to the set rituals, of which a priest is supposed to have a very good, thorough knowledge. So he was supposed to do that. And then there were the other, the accountants, the administrator, the people who do various other works, keeping that inventories at the stores for the temple as well as for the kitchen. There were the staff, the staff for gardening, and various different other works for some building maintenance, hundreds of different works connected with such huge property. They were being managed by different people. Now all of them, they were workers at that temple, and there the boss, the owner, was this Rani Rasmani, and the son-in-law of Rani Rasmani, who had the power of attorney to deal with everything. Practically, he was the owner of the whole place. Now, what happened was very interesting. The worship that an ordinary person performs out of devotion, there is devotion, and therefore the person, to intensify the devotion, is doing worship. And while doing the worship, is supposed to follow the whatever the scripture has given, the properly approved procedure for worship is to be followed with tremendous meticulous attention. And the protocol in worship is, you see, is much more even compared to, say, protocol at United Nations. That at such places there is protocol, and then in worshipping you have to observe that protocol. What should be done first, what next, what will follow, what ingredients, what should be their quantity, what should be their quality, and then all these things have been followed by the worshippers, and thus they get experts in that. The whole body becomes tuned to perform those actions as described in that scripture. If you see the worship, a big worship that is being done, if you see even the small worship that we do here every morning, early morning, you will see that there are many mantras. They are recited exactly at the appropriate time, one after another. Various articles offering is done exactly as per demands of the that particular whole ritual. It is everything is done very, very meticulously, and any breach in that would be considered terrible, bad. Instead of, for example, offering the food first and then the incense later, and that won't be considered right, not allowed. You have to go in the proper sequence, proper procedure, use the exactly proper mantra for everything. Now a worship has to be conducted like that, and exact time, exact hour has to be followed. If some worship requires 15 minutes, then spending 16 minutes would be wrong. It is to be completed in 15 minutes. There is one, I give that example very often because very illustrative example. In Durga Puja, it is one of the big worships. In that worship, there is a ritual that happens at the juncture of the 8th and the 9th day according to lunar calendar, 8th and the 9th day after the new moon day. So it is in the bright cycle. So it is 8th and the 9th day. That juncture, it is precisely calculated when the 8th day ends and the 9th day begins. So at that juncture, it is therefore the name of that worship is Juncture Puja, Sandhi Puja. At that junction of the 2 days. And then there is a very meticulous procedure for that. It is to be taken, 24 minutes of the 8th day and 24 minutes of the 9th day. So, exactly in 48 minutes, that worship has to be done meticulously from beginning to end. It should not take 47 minutes. It should not take 49 minutes. Exactly everything is to be done. If you see that how with precision the movements of the worshipper, the priest, they are happening. All the special appropriate those mantras, the verses, they are recited exactly like that as mandated. It is therefore a great training, to see and try to do that. Our body gets lot of training in that whole process. It is so, and a trained priest like Sri Ramakrishna was, his elder brother was, they were all trained in that, and so he would be doing that as because of his capability to do all these rituals meticulously. He has been given this job, appointed as the priest at this temple of Kali. Now, this is to be done with the intention that may I worship the Divine Mother. But there is no direct perception of the Divine Mother to the priest generally. It is done with the purpose that may the Divine Mother bless me with her true vision. But it is not there, so at that time, therefore, the priest follows the exact rules of that. But a stage would come, should come, if the worship is going on in the right direction. Right direction means a live connection is getting established with the Divine Mother. Now it is becoming more and more real. That is the meaning of live connection. It is now not just an image. It is now a living presence there, which is telling you, which is talking to you. It is now it is more real than anything else. The whole scenario of then formal worship gets changed into informal worship. There are, for example, certain procedures even for treating a hospital patient, that okay, the nurses there, they have a chart. At this time do this, at this time give this, at this time give this. And uh, as long as the situation is such that the patient is not conscious and responding and asking, these things go on. But if the patient is recovering, now he is very conscious, now he is saying, well, no, no, please don't now disturb me, let me take rest. No, can you add a little more, some salt or something in the food? And all that now, these things are to be taken into consideration. I remember an incident that when you are going by exact rituals, we had one such situation at our mutt, that a senior Swami was to be given certain medicines at appropriate time, and one novice was in charge of that and was doing the job with lot of devotion, care and all that, and was instructed that, well, at this time this is to be given. So at a particular time at night, at about 9:30 or 10 at night, a sleeping pill was to be administered. So now what happened, that at 9:30, now the sleeping pill has to be given, but that Swami is asleep. So now we woke him up. Hey, come on. So now meticulousness is okay, but isn't it against the very idea of giving the pill? So the fellow was woken up, and then the pill was given. So this is in formally that the rule has been completely observed by that person, no doubt about it. But was it the right thing to do? No, it is. So, therefore, when Sri Ramakrishna is seeing the Divine Mother very actively alive, moving about, asking him do things, it is no more just a stone or a metal image, clay image, nothing like that. That is a living something. We can get a glimpse of this if we look at our bodies. We think that we are alive, but yeah, we are alive. Don't think that we just think like that, but it is, we are alive. But what makes us alive? The bones, blood, this, that is what it is, an image made of the organic matter, that's all. It is, there are the bones which make the inner kind of the skeleton. Then there is the other, the flesh and the to make it look nice, all the skin and everything has been put in there, and robotics, because of which it can make movements, it is also attached to it. So these are all actually images, but because of our close association, we do not think those as images. Actually, you see, at many places they are being treated just as images. You see, at a some person behind the counter is treating, thousands of people, they are coming in lines, you see. Now that person behind the counter is treating them just as an image, just one image came and given, another image came given. There is no personal connection involved there. So it is just like that. It is done that in that sense, just a mechanical thing that the person is doing. There is even the smiles and laughs, how are you, okay, and that is all also done very mechanically. And was an incident that at White House long back, who was the president, I don't know at that time, but that president decided to see how much attention people pay to the welcoming remarks when they are just remarks by the person who is ushering them in. So he had thrown a big party for all senators, and then he was receiving them cordially, and then was uttering that, oh, how are you, and all that. No, in the same tone, but he was saying, I murdered my grandmother today. And nobody paid any attention to it. It is, oh, I murdered my grandmother. Okay, thank you, very nice, and all that. Only one person heard that you murdered your grandmother today, and then saw the funny twinkle in the eyes of the president. She needed such treatment. So it is. But the point is, it is just so mechanically done. There is not much life in it. So the worship also gets done like that, very meticulously, but formally. There is no true feel in it. But when you know that it is the real true person with whom you have a very deep informal connection, the situation changes. Now the formalities are substituted by the informal ways of serving. It is automatically it has to happen. So Sri Ramakrishna had that connection with Divine Mother. He would see it all the time, and so his worship would become different. Now, as he was doing this kind of worship, naturally all the other people in the temple, including the devotees who would come there to pay obeisance, they would get surprised, and not pleasantly, that what is this going on? This is sacrilegious. How can you worship Divine Mother like this? Because Sri Ramakrishna's actions would not follow the ritual. Not because he didn't know, but because he was now having a very intimate connection with the living Divine Mother. So this has completely now altered the situation. The rituals, the set rituals are required, when you do not have that kind of perception. The love is, when you are, say, acting in a drama, that somebody is playing the part of mother, and some other is playing the part of the little baby, little child. So the director tells how you should be, you should show lot of concern, love for your that baby is yours. And that actor doesn't have much of a feeling about that baby, but okay, it is matter of acting. So the director says, no, no, don't hold it to your bosom. Bring out, those expressions on the face. Okay, are they okay? No, no, make it still more. So make the eyes like this. So this is all going on. Kiss the baby 3 times. Now, if this is happening to that lady's real baby, will those instructions be needed? If you have to show the love, hold 3 times and kiss 3 times and all that, that all becomes ridiculous, meaningless, because it is now a real informal connection. In the Bhakti Shastras, the scriptures on devotion, therefore, 2 types of devotional practices are described. One is called the ritualistic or formally practiced devotion, which is necessary for almost all of us, because we do not actually perceive the truth or the divine being there, in spite of our wanting to do it. In spite of our wanting to see that God, we are not actually seeing it. There is the intention, but we are still not there. Like many times when I say something to somebody who has come with questions, well, this is Swami, but I am not there yet. So we are normally not there at actually perceiving that divine thing as alive. The mother is being seen, okay, this is to be imagined as mother. That is how it is, the upasana, this word is very beautiful, that it is that you have to go near it and make a connection. You have to make a connection, although you don't now have any connection. So Shankaracharya mentions this process as abrahmani brahmadrishtya anusandhanam. That abrahmani means that about which you have and you don't have the perception of that being God, but you imagine it to be God, and thus for you it becomes God, but by your intentions, not by your actual experience. So it is like the Christians, they receive the sacrament. They go to the priest who is giving sacrament, priest or minister, whosoever, and then in Catholics, as per the belief is, that when they take that piece of bread, they think that that is the flesh of Jesus, and the wine as the blood of Jesus. Now they try to see that in that bread and drop of wine. They try to perceive that. So it is, although they know that this is bread and this is not actually the flesh of Jesus, yet they try to feel it like that. So this is called a brahmani brahmadrishtya anusandhanam. So anusandhan means now doing that you move forward. That okay, imagine, and then try to move forward. This is a process that is used, that you see it is in the maps, you see the dynamic maps these days that people use for navigation while driving. And now the map, there is on the map a dot is seen, moving dot or arrow or whatever, some different in different portals. It is different thing, but you see a dot or an arrow is moving along the map. Now you have to know that that is your car. It is that is how your car is there moving. Now is that your car? That dot? That dot is not your car. That it is many times while looking at that. Oh, okay. You see ahead, I see all red line. Means it is the traffic is terrible there. It is all red there. So jam. So our car is here. That dot is there. Our car is here. It is the jam is there. So they are telling us to take the exit before the jam. Take another route. So it is now. On the map there is the description, but what you see on the map is a dot. You have to see that dot as your car. Got it? What, Naomi? Got it? It is like this. I give this example because now most of you use this. The people, experts from the previous generation, like our Vishwanath, he doesn't need all that. He can do without that, you see. It is. He can take look at the paper map and then move ahead. Doesn't need dynamic maps. So it is. But here it is, you see, that you imagine that particular deity, an image, as God. It is God. Now those who are not they don't accept the worship of images, and they should not also use those dynamic maps and think that that is the car and that is the road jam and all that. You imagine, you assign certain values to those images. So similarly you assign the value that is Divine Mother. Now the connection becomes different. Most of us don't see it, so we are not connecting to it properly. So, but Sri Ramakrishna is now connecting informally, is actually seeing. And so, his behavior is ununderstandable to those who are seeing that. The first variety of devotion is called Gauni or formal devotion. And then the second one is called Parabhakti or the supreme devotion, when now God is being actually seen. It is like that. So therefore Sri Ramakrishna, while offering say food to the Divine Mother, would see that Divine Mother is telling, no, not that, oh, you eat first. And now it is terrible, for that the food that is kept for the offering to the Lord and the worshipper just starts eating. That would be, a condemnable behavior. Not only the job of the priest will be lost for that person, also even ordinarily that person will not have that respect. He will not enjoy the respect of others. What did he do? He ate from that was to be offered for God. But Sri Ramakrishna would see that the Divine Mother is urging him to eat. So what can he do? It is, and he would talk to Divine Mother while the worship is on. Oh, okay, you want it like this. Okay, you want the garland made of this flowers. Okay, I will do accordingly. Today, Mother, you why you do not look so energetic? What has happened to you today? Or are you feeling it too cold? Are you feeling it too warm? All that was the behavior of Sri Ramakrishna. So everybody was complaining. Now, therefore, this Mathur Babu decided to observe it himself, and without letting anybody know, he came there incognito, and hiding in a corner, he saw the whole thing that Sri Ramakrishna was doing. And what reports he had heard were not factually wrong. But these other people who reported, they didn't have the vision or the mindset to understand the special connection that Sri Ramakrishna had with Divine Mother. Whereas this Mathur Babu could immediately understand that it is out of that supreme devotion Sri Ramakrishna is behaving in this manner. So, observing everything, he told those other people who were complaining, and they were more or less sure that once this owner sees by his own eyes, the next moment this priest will be kicked out. And to their astonishment, what this Mathur Babu said, do not disturb him, let him do worship as he wants to do. Mathur Babu, as this book describes, had teary eyes then, and with those, because he saw that how this love of Sri Ramakrishna is because he is actually seeing that Divine Mother as a living, actual, real presence. So, then that is how Mathur Babu got this message that how a worship is being performed, and it had a very deep impression on him. As we discussed last time, that it is quite unusual for such big people who were surrounded by all those who just keep on heaping praise on them because they are wealthy, in a position of power, and we should keep them in good humor. We should not offend them. So it is like that all others were behaving with Mathur Babu, and this was something opposite of that. So it is he was charmed by that behavior. His devotional chord was touched, that yes, this is very special. And so he got this guidance more and more in life as his connection with Sri Ramakrishna deepened. But here in this particular incident, he said, no, nobody should bother the name for Sri Ramakrishna. There was that young priest. His brother was the old priest, Choto Bhattacharya. What is the Bengali expression, Pratish? Chota Bhattacharya. So it is the Choto Bhattacharya. That was Sri Ramakrishna. Nobody should bother him. Let him continue the worship as it is. Occasionally, and I am reading now, Rani Rasmani also visited the Kali temple and was moved when she saw how the mother was decorated with flowers, and when she heard the master singing songs in his sweet voice. She was very much moved by that. Whenever Rani Rasmani uh, came to the Kali temple, she called to this junior priest and asked him to sing a few devotional songs. For others in the temple, this fellow is insane, is out of his senses, and so, but what can be done? These big people are still supporting him, so they wouldn't ask Sri Ramakrishna to sing song, but Rani Rasmani would request him to sing a few songs on Divine Mother herself. So, uh, thus the days rolled on, and the life was going on. The people of the Kali temple's small household were busy with their respective duties. Whatever time was left after doing their work and looking after their self interest, they used to indulge in gossiping and in criticizing others, thus reliving the dull moments of their lives. And that is what they do, that it is, there was a club where people would assemble and then talk, but the proceedings were very dull, not much enthusiasm. So it was decided that every meeting one of them would remain absent. And then meetings became very lively because all remaining people spent time in criticizing that absent fellow, you see. So it is, that is how normal our life is, just whirls around those things, and some entertainment after our those worldly chores are finished. Now there is time. Even now we mostly do like that. It is generally, I was told, well, if you do meditations in the evening after coming back from your work, you are right, Swami, but what happens is, I get very tired the whole day working, then I have to take care of children here at home and then cook about and then feel, that let me just know what is going on in the world. So sit before the TV for some time, and then I do not know when it is just time to sleep now. And I tell myself I should get good sleep because tomorrow again I have to a very busy day ahead of me. So therefore I can't find time for meditation. Morning to evening there is so much of work and so many problems are there. Now dealing with them all time is gone, and this main thing is easily forgotten. That is how our life goes on. That it is like a person was busy uh, taking care of some little pimple on the forehead, applying ointment, this, that, and okay, how will it get all right? And because of that worries, he neglected taking the medicine for his heart and all that, which was most necessary. So the fellow had the pimple might have got all right, but died of the heart attack, you see. So that is what happens. This is the main thing, that the human life is for God realization. What other things you achieve in life, they are secondary. And it is, you do not get into a flight just because, okay, I wanted to go to Florida, but there is no window seat available. And I like window seat. The one which is going to California has a window seat. So therefore, do I change my travel plan and go to California instead of going to Florida? That is because that is very insignificant something. Whether I sit at the window or where I sit, the main thing is to go to the destination that I want to go to. So the all other things that we do in life is scrambling for such little things, and we get so attached to that we forget the main goal of our life. So this is the normal life of people. How are they expected to understand this greatness of Sri Ramakrishna, who was right amongst them? So they would feel a very weird person. So Rani Rasmani understood that. So what happened then? One day an incident, very special incident took place. Rani Rasmani had come. And as per her practice, she called Sri Ramakrishna, and when he came, she requested that to sing some these devotional songs on Divine Mother to her. And Sri Ramakrishna, he always liked to sing these songs, and so it didn't need much requesting. He started singing, and suddenly, what happened was he gave a light slap on the face of Rani Rasmani. Oh my goodness, there were all so many people, and they, when they saw it, now today this madness of this junior priest has reached a new height. He slapped whom? The owner of this temple, this lady. Oh my goodness. And now not only that he will be thrown out, he probably will not get out alive now. He has done this, slapped this owner of the temple. Terrible. All where everything you can imagine, that they so many people around Rani Rasmani was listening to these songs, and Sri Ramakrishna gives her a slap, saying, same thoughts here as well. And Rani Rasmani understood. That's it. So, and then she saw immediately the commotion all around, and thought that she could see that now these people are going to harm Sri Ramakrishna. They will be pulling him out, giving him a thorough thrashing, and maybe he may not be even kept alive because he took such a such step of and this insane fellow, what is this? But Rani Rasmani understood everything, and she immediately ordered her women attendants were around, the bodyguards were there, and also so many others were there. So everybody started calling, "Oh, please come, come on, take this insane fellow out. Look what he has done." Rani Rasmani said, "No, no, don't bother him. Don't. Nobody should come forward to touch him." And they were, what again? Why this is? So we shall see the discussion on this. Continue the discussion, and that what was the idea? Uh, because now it is 8:27. So time for today's discussion is over. So we shall discuss it at our next class. Uh, any questions? If you have, just meditate for 30 seconds. And in case if you have questions, please feel free to ask. Yes, please. Good, no questions today. So, those who have this book in any form, please try it next Tuesday. Read that passage before coming, so that the discussion will be easier. So, let us conclude with the closing prayers. May the Divine, who is Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jewish faith, Allah of the Muslims, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Taoists, Great Spirit of the Native Americans, Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. The all-loving being manifest himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and all-consuming divine love. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.